What's up, everybody? Checking my audio. All right, that's working. Hey, how's everybody doing? Stopping by to say hey and to tell you where I've been for the past 4 days in case you missed me. But first, did anyone notice I was gone? I'm dying to know that. I literally have not been here for 4 days. It was not my choosing. I'll tell you more about it in a second. But did anyone realize that? I guess is my first question. Trying to figure out how valuable I actually am in this little space of ours. Sorry, hold on. I'm turning something off here so there's not so much noise. You noticed, you knew, someone told you. That's not the same thing. I'm looking for somebody who wasn't told, who would actually have an idea that I was just like absolutely not able to look at, touch, see, do anything about. All right. So here's what happened. Hello, everybody. If you comment where you're listening, I'll be able to see your comments. We can put your comments up on the screen in case you want your questions answered or anything like that. Um, let's see what else I want to tell you. There is an Apple Watch giveaway going on right now. Goes till the end of the month. If you want to click on that there, if you're in the public Facebook group, that explains the Apple Watch giveaway. You can just hit that QR code. It'll tell you more about it. In a couple minutes, I'll put up the Apple Watch link if you're in the private group, so you can get to that as well. But they should take you right to the post to talk about it. So anyway, I was running out the door on the 4th of July, heading out to a picnic. Going to spend some time with my family. And on the way out the door, I thought, oh, I'll answer a couple of questions on the Facebook group before I go. So I get into this post that's about the Juice Cruise. If you don't know about the Juice Cruise, we're going on a cruise together in June. That's right there. And I'm getting a bunch of questions about the cruise. So I see all these questions. They're all the same basic question. They need a short answer and a link. I'm like, oh, okay. So I type up a short answer, I put the link with it, I copy it, and I go to 5 different comments. And I think, well, I don't want to overwhelm the Facebook algorithm because it can be picky. And I pasted and responded and pasted and responded 5 times. And then I left. That was it. 5 times. And by the time I got to my car, I thought, oh, there was one more person that asked that question. Let me go do that. And I was a passenger in the car that day, or Kelly was driving. And so I pull up my phone and I try to respond and I hit send and it just gets red and it says, like, it didn't go through. Retry. And I retried and I retried. I was like, I didn't think anything about it. And I just like, I guess Facebook's not working. And I went off to our, like, our little thing. As a couple hours into the picnic. And I thought, well, let me jump on and answer a couple more questions. It was a calm time. I'm sitting out in the sun. I'm enjoying myself. Right. And I realize I am not able to respond to anything in my group. Now, this is bad timing because we don't tell you everything that's going on with like the group experts and the moderators and everything. But my moderator, the only other person who can actually like kick somebody out, ban somebody, stop somebody from doing something terrible, like any of that stuff, that person is off the grid this weekend. Off the grid. So I'm kicked out. She's off the grid. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? So, uh, hey, Melissa, how are you? It's nice to see you. So what happens is that almost immediately spammers start popping up in the group. I have a bunch of Dexcoms and I can't use them. And if you message me, I'll send them to you. Obvious scam, right? Except people getting their money taken from them because some people don't know it's a scam. They jump up. They're like, oh, I'll pay for shipping for that. People are sending everybody $20 for shipping. This person's stealing from you. I cannot stop it. I can't ban the post. I can't ban the person. I can't do anything. And the other person who can is not reachable. So I'm just sitting here watching someone take advantage of you guys. Nothing I can do about it. So I'm contacting Facebook. I'm like, come on. Like, I'm like, you thought I was a scammer because that's, by the way, what happened. They thought because I pasted a link 5 times in a row that I was scamming you. And meanwhile, I don't know how I'm not, are we, I never am sure if I'm allowed to curse, but how in the fuck would you ban the administrator, the person who started the group? I mean, okay. So anyway, yeah, right? Oh no is right. So so they banned me and I'm like, "Oh no," like, I type to them, no one responds to me. No response. So I suck it up that day. Nothing I can do about it. I get home. I'm like, "Okay, next day I'll try again." Melissa, upstate New York, it's hot as hell here, isn't it? And and so I get up in the morning and I go through each thing that they I don't know restricted me for, and I put in I don't know what they call it, but I was like, hey, this wasn't me. Like I'm the guy. Like I'm the guy. I made the group. I'm not scamming them. I'm the guy. And so I'm responding back, and they go, oh, okay, well, yeah, we shouldn't have done that. I get an automated response back, and it like takes away the restriction on one of them, on the second one, on the third one, on the fourth one, and then on the fifth one. Guess what? And here's your wish, D Nice, they fucking ignore the fifth one. So they let me off the hook on the first four, but not on the fifth one. And voila, I'm still restricted. I can't do shit. So I spent 3 days trying to get Facebook to let me back into my own group. They did not let me back in. It timed out. I was on a 4-day restriction, and after 4 days, it let me back in. Hi, Cassandra. How are you? I know it was upsetting. They let me back in, and so now I'm back. And I thought I'd stop by and say hi, but I'm trying to find out if anybody like noticed I was gone or not, other than the fact that you could like scam people and take their money because nobody was there. Also, I thought one conversation got a little proselytizy about a certain way of eating, and I would have done something about that. I think would have stopped in and said to people like, "Hey, maybe just like, you know, be nicer." But other than that, there was what else was supposed to happen this weekend that didn't happen. I'm supposed to tell you about the Apple Watch giveaway. That's the link for the public page if you want to click on that. And the Apple Watch giveaway, if you're in the private page, that'll take you to the post about the Apple giving an Apple Watch away this week. I was supposed to talk about that. Um, I was supposed to be telling we launched the cruise, right? The sales for the cruise, and we're doing okay. Like, I think we've got over 20 people coming right now, which is nice for the first couple days of being on sale. Fantastic. We're excited about that. But we wanted to build on that momentum, but we couldn't because I couldn't post on Facebook. And apparently, if I try to leave links for people who want to know about the cruise, I'm going to get kicked out of Facebook. So, rock, hard place, meet Scott. So what we're going to do, I don't think we're going to do it till tomorrow or the next day. But if you want to learn about the cruise, like click on the QR code. Cruise for people who listen to the podcast, for Facebook members, for families, for singles, doesn't matter. Come on out next June 2025. I'm going to be there. We're going to give talks, going to be guest lecturers, doing a whole thing. Some of your favorite companies might be there. Not to do sales, but to do Q&A, like customer service, like answer questions. They might send a representative on, which I think will be cool. Um, Nevertheless, check it out if you're interested. It's Juice Cruise 2025. That's the link that takes you right to the page. It tells you all about it. But what we're going to do next week, because obviously, um, I mean, quite obviously, I can't. Apparently, there's 700 people asking to go, for more information about the cruise. And if I leave the link for them, I'm going to get kicked out of the group. So we made a private group just for the cruise, and we'll start letting people into it based on if you've registered already. So all the people who've already registered and put down their deposit, they obviously can go in and start talking to each other. But for people who are interested in going on the cruise, we're going to have to start letting people into the private Facebook group early so that they can get their information there, because this page is so big that if I put up the links, you guys are never going to see them. The only way for me to get to you, of course, is then to post links. And then apparently I get put in Facebook jail. So um, you're moving from Slovakia in June. Yeah, well, that'd be a long commute. I don't think you're going to want to do that. But we will miss you. Nicole, hi. So how are you? Hi, Nicole. What are you guys having like sub conversations already for Cassandra? thank you for missing me. I missed you guys too, actually. I was like, I wasn't upset, like, I'm an adult and all, but I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, how would you kick the administrator of the group? Like, I made the group. I've grown it to this size. People are asking me questions. I'm answering the questions, and their algorithm sees me as spam. Meanwhile, people actually come on and spam, and that I can't catch. So, great. Oh, you're just cheering for Cassandra in general. Not so much a guy conversation. Let's not badmouth them because you can't get to them. So I jump on there. I don't want to say anything bad. I think Facebook's great. Mark Zuckerberg, you're fantastic. Like, don't kick me out of my own fucking group again. I actually like I keep looking into making my own group like on a different platform, which the truth is there's fantastic groups that you can use. They're kind of expensive, but at this point, I think I'd be willing to pay for it if if I could pull the money together. What did I do? Natalie's on the private group asking what I did. I just posted links and apparently too many of them, and I looked like a spammer. That was lovely. Um, you were worried because your captains were gone. And I think we said, you guys did fantastic. Like, I saw everything you reported. What I learned eventually was I was able to keep or remove reported content, but I couldn't report anything. And I wasn't able to let in new members, and I wasn't able to do a few other things. Um, there's here, look, Facebook. How many people I brought to by the way, I'll brag for a second. I brought a lot of people to Facebook, and I brought a lot of people to podcasting. There's a ton of people who listen to my podcast don't listen to another goddamn podcast in the whole world. And and so anyway. Oh, wait. Natalia? Like that? Natalie? All right, listen. Spell it phonetically. I got rid of Facebook. Could I try to win some other way? Oh, you're on the YouTube. Melissa, download a few episodes and sign up for the newsletter, and that'll be good. Hi, Annette. How are you? Did you notice I got kicked off of Facebook? 4 days. Upsetting. Anyway, so that's enough about Facebook kicking me off. That was bullshit. What else do I want to talk to you about? Oh yeah, I told you about the private group that's coming for the cruise. So you'll be able to like, I'll put up a link for it. You can jump into it and then ask all your questions there about the cruise because it's apparently, at least then I can put up one link in one place and people will be able to see it. With the group the way it is now, stuff goes by so fast, like nobody can keep up. And then I'm good. I really am. Actually, thank you. I had a full day of doing relaxing things, and now I'm here doing this. Um, okay, what's coming up on the podcast this week? I'm going to give you a little look. I am. People are texting me. It's not uncommon. A lot of people love me. I'm just kidding. It's probably from Cozy Earth telling me that I should come back and buy more stuff because I do seem to get texted by them a lot. CozyEarth.com. Use the offer code Juicebox at checkout to save 30% off of your entire order. Let's see. You think that's funny? Use the links. You know, if enough people use the links, I could. So before I get to what's on the podcast next week, there's this, I think, a platform that's fantastic called Circle, right? And it's Facebook, but it would be basically privately owned by me. And I think it would cost, if I'm not mistaken, I think it would cost $5,000 a year. So like there's part of me that says you can charge everybody like $2 a month to be in it and cover the cost of it, right? Because not every 50,000 people are not going to move over to it. But then you realize that as much as Facebook is in control and it sucks, this is how you guys learn about it. Like if I leave Facebook, I lose the people who are, there's no winning. I can't actually get out of here. What am I drinking? Diet Mountain Dew on ice. I needed the caffeine. That's not sexy, but that is what I'm drinking. Decent little side conversation about Cozy Earth and how I did not want to like their stuff as much as it's fantastic. I've been the shorts. I don't have them on today, but I think I wore a pair of their shorts for like 3 days in a row. I love them so much. It's way too expensive, but it's the 30% off does actually help. Do I ever have guests on, Where, Melissa? On here? On the live? Is that what you're asking me? Feel free to keep asking. I'll keep talking to you. Podcast this week. Tomorrow. First of all, I did the news episode again on Saturday. I enjoyed that. I'm going to keep doing that as long as people seem to like it. Tomorrow is 12:47. Service with a smile. This is Sarah. She's the mother of a child with type 1 diabetes. We discuss her daughter's diagnosis, but we talk also about her father's volunteer work. He was very involved after 9/11 and stuff with the Red Cross. He had a battle with cancer. The conversation kind of went that way. It was really interesting. Have I booked the entire cruise yet? No, I have not booked the entire cruise. There's still spots for sure if you're interested. Links up there, right there. And okay, that's Monday. Tuesday, 12:48 is called Dill Pickle. Oh, I know why this is called Dill Pickle. Stacy, diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 10. She shares her story of managing diabetes and overcoming a challenging family background, to say the least. She recounts surviving a serious car accident and the impact of diabetes on her life. That'll be Tuesday. You can go find out why that one will be called Dill Pickle. Wednesday, a grand rounds with Dr. Nader Kazim. He was terrific pediatric endocrinologist, has type 1 diabetes for 18 years, talks about his personal and professional journey. Very interesting. Talks a lot about just how he, how he deals with his patients and everything. It's a great episode for that. Thursday is the last episode of the Resilience series in 4 parts. So it's part 4 with me and Erica Forsyth as we go over what resilience is and how it might look in your life. Oh, I hope you come on the podcast. I hope you come on the cruise and you can tell me how to say your name in person. Please, everybody, come to if this cruise thing doesn't work out, I'm going to jump out a window. Oh, and then Friday, Ben, a 30-year-old systems administrator diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, talks about his experiences with bipolar disorder, addiction, and multiple personalities. He shares his journey through mental health challenges, managing diabetes. He literally is going to talk to you about like different personalities that he inhabits. Very interesting stuff. Subscribe and follow, please. If you're not already subscribed, you can subscribe in Apple Podcasts right here. I'll leave that up for a minute. Also, a link just went up into the chat, so you can check that out. Let me see if anybody over in the private group has any questions. Ryan, yes, Ryan knows I was gone. Hi, welcome back. Thank you. Brenda, I don't know what the trick is. Facebook doesn't seem to enjoy telling people that there's live video in their groups. So to get that, I made the post. There are 50,000 people in this group, and this post has reached 147 people in 26 minutes. If I would have posted today is Sunday, it would have reached 3,000 people by now. Just disappointing. They must be blocking it. Anyway, that link right there at the bottom is for Apple Podcasts. People clicking on it, I'll give them another second to click in case you're new and you'd like to check out the podcast, hear about any of the stuff that we're putting up this week, or of course any of the 1,200 other episodes that you're absolutely willing to listen to. I would appreciate it. And then Spotify, you can listen on Spotify as well. If anybody doesn't have any questions, I'm going to jump, but anyway, that's where I was, and I'd be happy to. Oh, okay. I was going to say I'd be happy to answer actual diabetes questions. Let me just say that nothing you hear on the Juicebox podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. I am not a doctor, and I don't pretend to be one. How long do you wait to determine whether a pod site has gone bad? I tend to be stubborn about getting 80 hours. Oh, I wouldn't do that. I'd bail if it was bad. Honestly, if it was not acting the way I wanted it to for, I don't think I'd wait more than like, if I really thought it was a bad site, a few hours, and I'd bail on it. Like, if you get 72 hours out of a pump, great. If you're trying to get into that last little bit at the end and your blood sugars are a problem because of it, I'd get away from it. As a matter of fact, if I was Arden, I'd be changing this pod right about now. So, and she's at 64 hours. I think there's a case to be made here for her because she's stuck at like 180. And there's a case to be made here for her to make one big bolus, and if it doesn't move, then it's pod time. It's 6 hours away from its end. She got shot up a little bit. She ate and then jumped in the shower. As a matter of fact, since you asked and I looked, I'm going to send her a text and say, bolus suggested. If no suggested, go 250% profile. That's for Trio. That's what Arden's using right now, the Trio app. Moving on. Janelle, how many are you expecting for the cruise? I sent a message to get a price for a room for 4 where average cruises. Oh, well, first of all, I hope you come. That'd be great. If Suzanne hasn't gotten back to you already, send me a note because she got it switched over. So I think online now, if I'm not mistaken, you can sign up for multi people online because I think at first it was, I'm looking right now. At first you could only do online for 2 occupants, but now I think you can register for up to 4 on the web. You can. Yeah, spacious ocean view balcony, 3 bedrooms. It's set up so the price for the first person, second person, third person, and 4, you can register for up to 4 people now. So if you head back over to the link, Juice Cruise 2025, you can do that online, Janelle, and I will see you on the boat. Super exciting. You're welcome. Don't be stubborn. Just change the pod. I mean, and if you're having problems, why would you stick with the pod? And if you're covered, I mean, listen, if you have insurance and your insurance is covering your pumps and you run out of pods, just tell the doctor to write it for a couple more, and then you should be okay. Well, I just wore a G7 this week because I was trying to track my blood sugar impacts around food when I was on different when I was on Zepbound, and when like I don't know why I'm having trouble saying this. I was trying to see the impacts of Zepbound by days, like how is it managing my blood sugar on injection day versus the second day, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. And I got to be honest with you, my G7, it gave up the ghost on day 7, and I had to take it off. So I had a sensor malfunction on day 7, and it just didn't come back, and so I took it off this morning. I waited 12 hours to see if it would come back, and it did not. So, but did I see any no data while I was wearing it? No. And as a matter of fact, Arden never gets it. This week really made me consider, like when I say to people, like Arden never has trouble with Dexcom, like she legitimately does not ever have problems with it. Hers always go 10 days, like they don't get freaky at the end, the whole thing. But I wonder if it's just like if she's just not found the perfect place to wear it for her that it just really works. Because I put it on my hip like she does, and I got like 6.5 days out of it. She puts hers on her hip, 10 days every time, no dropouts. Like it made me think like maybe people have to be a little more experimental with where they put it till they find their spot. That's my kind of my takeaway from this week. I was kind of thinking about that. I don't know if I'm right or not. Don't forget, in the public page, you click on that link up here and you can try to win the Apple Watch that I'm giving away this week, or this month, excuse me. Do I know, Sarah says, if we're still required to list a second person, can we add a second person later? Oh, that I'm not sure about. I'll be talking to Suzanne again tomorrow about the cruise. I can find out. Oh, good. Thank you. That's the other thing we're going to do in the private group is if people want to come on as a single and you need to find a roommate, we're going to make a place where people can look for people to to do that. But yeah, you have to have at least two in the room, or you got to pay for two. And this isn't us, by the way. This is how the cruise line is. I mean, I'm not going to call them the mafia, but they've got pretty strict rules. Cassandra, I hope you can. Oh, it would be lovely to meet you in person. Oh, wouldn't that be exciting? Excellent. Um, Fat muscle. What is this about? Is this a dig? Are you coming at me? What are we going? Fat muscle. You're talking about where the CGM goes, I know, but I'm just trying to figure out what you're saying. I'm not sure. I'm having a lot of trouble getting 10 days out of my G, so my son gets 10 days. Yeah, everybody jump in and tell people your favorite sites. Like I said, Arden only does her hips. That's it. Only her hips. Loves them. I know some people do the backs of their arms, only the backs of their arms. I've seen people put it on their belly. I don't know if people have like places in here. Let's know. For G7 sites. I know. I'm just teasing you. What is this? Denise, are you are you fighting with people? Sarah's only ever done her abdomen. I thought if that helps you to make a better decision for yourself, try something. I would try something different. I mean, obviously you're looking for, the meatiest place that you have. Do people pinch up with the G7? You kind of, I mean, I guess you can, but right? But you still got to push a little bit when you're making it, when you're putting it on. Cassandra does the front of her arms, no compression loss anymore. The front, like, wait, oh, like here? What are you trying to say? Not your bicep, obviously. Side of your arm? Is that what you're calling the front? Here? Yes, you are fighting with yourself. I don't know what you're talking about. Good luck with that. Well, I hope that goes better. I'm glad you're trying other places. I think that's really the best way to go. For the cruise, we hoping to have enough kids to do a kids talk while we're there. We think could be really interesting if your children, people who listen to the podcast are probably always talking about stuff to their kids. And I always wonder if their kids are kind of half like, oh, what does this lady know? You know what I mean? This guy doesn't seem to know what he's talking about in any other part of life. Now I got to listen to him about diabetes. I wondered if it wouldn't help them to like get their own little kind of like age appropriate talk so they understood the reasons why they were doing what they were doing and why it was so important. And then to let them ask questions. I think that's really an awesome idea is to let kids have a Q&A and let them get out some questions if they have them. On the front towards my torso so I can sleep on the side. So when you're side sleeping, you are talking about your bicep, aren't you? Hmm. Anyway, kids talk, my talks, going over all the stuff from the pro tip series, doing Q&As, um, you know, looking at graphs is another thing I want to do. I want to put up a lot of different graphs and talk to people about where insulin goes in and, show them how algorithms manipulate things so that maybe if they don't have one, they can, kind of try to duplicate that in their own life. Um, Working real hard on getting Erica there to do some, more of the mental health stuff around diabetes. There's another person we're trying to get to come and talk, but they're not able to commit right now, but we have our fingers crossed for that. So that's the stuff we're working on right now. I will be there though. I will talk until my head falls off. We can chat, ask questions, over and over again, but we'll do certain topics as well. And then, of course, if people have questions, we get away from, it's okay with me. I think that that's the best way to do this is just let people ask questions, do your best to answer them. Even sometimes getting people in the crowds to like we're doing right now. People are like, oh, I put it here, I put it there. You can do that with a lot of different topics. And I just think that that kind of crowdsourcing in that setting is really valuable. Anyway, it's Sunday. You guys probably have somewhere to be. If anybody's got a question, I'll hang out for it for a second. I'm gonna look over here. This person says in the private group, tested a G7, loved the accuracy, amazing. My upper abdomen was a perfect changing to G7. Hope the person's looking at maybe Moby next. That'd be cool. We're going to need some Moby followers. or users. I've seen several people use their bicep side of their arm, like right at the top of the mountain, here, back of an arm. Ryan said he's had chest sites work well for him. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? What else? Hmm. Seems to be it in there. Let me see what I got here. Oh, Stephen, where? Back of the arm is the flab when you raise up your arm, the dangle. Gotcha. I think that's because we're old, Stephen. I think other people don't have that, maybe. I hope, right? I mean, I have some. Um, it's good to see everybody. Anyway, I'm back on Facebook. They kicked me out of my own group for 4 days. Um, I won't post links again. Like I said, I'm going to open up the private group for the cruise so that we can talk more about that in there. So the repetitions of links being put up. But it's just disappointing in general because it's slow. It means if I'm going through the group answering questions, I have to be careful about it, or I'm going to get booted out, and there's no recourse. And you don't know what's happening until it happens. So if you do 4 or 5 in a row, you've got 4 or 5, you know, strikes against you, and there's nobody to talk to. It's not like there's customer service at Facebook. They're, you know, an algorithm's answering the email too. Anyway, behave. What do you mean behave? All right, hold on. One last time in case anybody needs it. Here's the podcast on Spotify. You can pause your video and click on that. Here is the podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can pause the video and click on that if you want to. Like I said, this week, 5 new episodes are already set up and ready to come to you. One is an After Dark on Friday with a person with multiple personalities. Interesting, who has type 1. Service with a Smile is Monday. Dill Pickle Tuesday. Grand Rounds Dr. Kazim is Wednesday. The Last in the Resilient series is on Thursday. Multiple Personalities After Dark's on Friday. There'll be another news segment on Saturday. And don't forget to try to win the Apple Watch here. And you know what? Just because it's so popular, if anybody's listening and they're getting ready to start Omnipod 5, you should really listen to those 3 episodes before you start Omnipod 5. Getting the settings right before you put the first pod on is incredibly important. Listen to those before you start, or trust me, you're going to have problems. Wait, hold on a second. It feels like someone's saying something nice to me. Do tell, Cassandra. I was very, very worried about this one. Super worried. If you listen to the Resilience series, you'll hear that I had this idea while I was in the shower. I texted Erica and I was like, I want to discuss like what resilience really is. Like, what does it actually mean to be resilient? Like, how does it happen? Is it just, because we all have these ideas about what it means. And I loved our conversations about it between Erica and I. She did such a good job of building the bones of the conversation. But man, just if you I never know you understand. I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like I put my stuff out and I'm like, I think this sounds good to me. Like I hope people understand this or like it, but I never know how it's going to go. I really never do. Off the bed. Yeah, well, you're in Slovakia. It's bedtime there, right? Anyway, if you're in the private group, that's the link for the Apple Watch giveaway. It'll take you to the post about the Apple Watch giveaway that we're doing. And one more time, guys, Juice Cruise 2025. Come on out. Let's all get together and soak up the sun, bounce around Mexico, talk about diabetes, relax together, get to know people. I'll say this before I go about the cruise. Once again, I never know exactly what I'm doing. Like when I started the cruise, I was like, oh, it'll be cool. Like people will get together and we'll talk about diabetes. And what I realized is most of the people are just very excited to meet each other. And I did not understand that, but uh, to the extent of how many times people talk about this would be so cool if our kids could meet in person, if we could sit and talk, other parents, I'm talking about adults with type 1, or like I don't know any other people with type 1. There'll be other adults there. I'm coming. Like that's the part, man. It almost feels like it's going to be like diabetes camp but on a boat. And I don't know. I'm super excited to see it all happen and come together. We have until October 15th to sell out the cruise. If we sell out the cruise by October 15th, then we're all good, and it shouldn't be that hard. We're already selling pretty well, but if we don't sell out, then I maybe have to refund everybody's deposits. But I think we can do it. I'm very confident that we can. Like I said, sales are brisk, but it's a big thing for people to do. I understand they have to talk to each other, so we're not like, we weren't expecting everybody to sign up on the first day. But in the next couple of weeks, like if you're planning on doing it, like jump in, okay? Please. And remember, you're just making a deposit, so it's not the end of the world. If you're watching on the public page, there is a private group right there. 51,000 members right there. 125 posts every day in that group. You want to talk about diabetes, there is no better place on the internet to chat with other people who have type 1, type 2, or any other kind of diabetes than in the private Facebook group for the Juicebox podcast. And if you're in the private group watching and you're thinking to yourself, there's a public page, there absolutely is. It's right there. Go ahead and check that out. And looks like more people are chatting now. Oh, answering my question. What was my question about the resilience? It's very interesting to learn facts about it, and the know-how is incredible. And I'm sure everyone can take something out of it. I took a lot out of the conversation with Erica. She's wonderful, obviously. And, but really, I loved her perspective on those ideas and how excited she was to talk about it. Diabetes camp. It's a floating diabetes camp, but I didn't realize that. Like, and it's so funny. I said I was going to leave, but I'll do one more thing. When I first started doing this, like so long ago, I was writing a blog and I was still trying to imagine how to help people. And I said to my wife, I wish I could like just get a big pile of money and I'd buy like a house. And then when people were newly diagnosed, they could come to the house and and then do like crash courses on meals. Like I thought, how great would it be if you could live somewhere for a week and like get up and move and leave and come back and exercise and sleep and do all kinds of day-to-day things with people around who were literally there to help you figure out your insulin and talk to you about variables and everything. That was my first idea. Was like my first diabetes idea was like Ronald McDonald House, but for newly diagnosed people with type 1 diabetes, where they could come and learn crash course, like what life was really like day to day. I always thought that was such a good idea. But again, I no idea how to pay for it. It's incredibly expensive. You have to move people to different locations. I was like, I can't figure this out. Eventually it became me talking about it on a podcast. But I don't know. I love this idea about getting everybody together. I'm super excited about it. Let me make sure there's no more over here. Somebody said it's amazing. It will sell out. Do it annually. Sail out of Boston. So Caroline is saying sail out of Boston. I want you to know, Caroline, that if this works, this first one, which is going out of Galveston, Texas, then we've got more pull with the cruise line for the next time, right? So if imagine a year from now, we all head over and we get on the cruise and it cruises around and it's fine and it makes enough money that the cruise line likes us and everything, then we put the next one on sale right away and we have better choices, not better, but we have more choices about ports. In my heart, it's Texas next year, maybe Orlando the year after, maybe it's Boston, out of Boston or New Jersey. Then we go out to California, do one out of California. Maybe 5 years from now, we're all cruising together in Alaska. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of forward thinking I'm trying to have on this. So hopefully, hopefully enough people come this time that we can actually build on it. Is this my Ronald McDonald House idea, Stacey? It's a fucking rock solid idea. Absolutely rock solid idea. If I had money, like endless piles of money, it's one of the things I would 100% do. Because uh what's this, Cassandra? I can cruise to Europe? Europe? Would I go out of New York and go right across the ocean? Is that how that works? Stacy, listen. What we need, I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but we need a billionaire's kid who has type 1 diabetes to find the podcast and feel like I saved them. And then call me up and say, how can I help? And I'll pitch my Ronald McDonald House idea right there. We won't call it Ronald McDonald House. But we'll call it something else. Because I mean that would be copyright infringement at the very least. And misleading, honestly. I would like to see Europe. I would like to do all kinds of stuff. Also, start a cruise in Italy? You think I got enough fans in Italy to start a cruise? I do Oh, I do in the UK. Hmm. I do have a lot of fans in the UK. From Alaska to Scandinavia. I got to fly to Alaska? Cassandra, don't put me on a plane. I don't want to be on a plane too long. I'll jump on a plane for a couple hours. Stacey, work on that. Yes, go find a billionaire whose kid has diabetes. Give him the pro tip series. Get back to me. I appreciate that very much. Seriously, I don't know what you guys would do if you got like a bunch of money. But if like somebody dropped a bunch of money on me and they said this is for the podcast, I think the first thing I would do is I'd probably call the advertisers up and I'd be like, "Hey, there's no more ads on my podcast. Sorry. If you guys are hearing that, I would never do that. Don't worry about it." And then I would pay all the people who helped me with the Facebook group. I I, I would pay them like it's a part time job because I think it actually is. And I would pay the I would pay the guy that edits the thing more money, and and then I would start looking into ways to spread the word about the podcast. I would use some of the money to spread the word because that's still a sticking point for me. I was like, I don't think the podcast grows fast enough, and it's a thing I struggle with. What do I gotta do? Cutter what? You have to try Cutter Airways Q Suites. You will fly. Well, how much is that gonna? What am I gonna be in like a little apartment? All right, I will look it up just to see what it's about though. Hold on. Airways. What's it called? Q Suite. Um, luxury redefined. Who's paying for this? Hold on a second. Agree. It looks very nice. Oh my goodness. It's like a little apartment on an airplane. Twin suite, double suite, the quad. The quad. Wait a minute. Is it like a 4-person cubby? All right, hold on. So if I fly, can you hear me, virtual flight attendant? No. Okay. So I said, Jesus, I said New York to here. Let's see where it fly. Where do they fly to? Where are places that it flies to? Hold on. Wait, doesn't it just fly to Qatar? Is that what it is? All right, so let's just do New York to. Oh wow, $1,700. Is that one way? That seems like a lot of money to fly somewhere. It looks very nice though. Ezra, look at this. So it's 18-hour flight from New York to Doha. Economy 955, business class 8397. These are like $10,000 tickets to fly somewhere. I can't afford that. All right, I'm getting rid of that. I can't believe that website talked to me. That freaked me out. Scholarships. Uh to what, Steven? Scholarships to the cruise or for something else? $3,000 to $4,000 from Miami to Doha. Jeez, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't have that kind of cash. All right. Um, I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. I am going to jump. You guys have a nice weekend. And Stephen, I will send you a note right now. I got to run downstairs, but I'll send you an email. And we can start talking. And first of all, let's just do that while I'm thinking about it because my brain is going to forget. Hold on a second. All right, Stephen, that note's on its way. Tell me what you're thinking in that email. Come on, thank you. You're welcome. I hope you had a good time. And I was happy to pop in. Welcome back to social media. Yeah, I had I wasn't lost, but I was like, I was very worried about the group. I just didn't want people to have a problem. Like, there's a post that's been reported since I've been doing this. This happens, like, this group is so big at this point. Like, yeah, you can't. Hold on a second. Yeah, guys, like it sucks because like nice people need something and they're like, hey, I need a sensor or something. And, people are like, oh my God, I'd be happy to give it to them. And I look and they're real people and I know they really need help. But there's so many of these that they turn into spam so fast and people getting ripped off so quickly. Also, somebody had a baby and thanked the podcast and I lost the post because I couldn't respond to it. Oh, wait, I found it. Hannah had a baby. It's a very pretty little baby. And she said that actually it's a great okay, look at this. Um, she had her second baby boy. I used what I learned on the Juicebox podcast to successfully manage blood sugars in my pregnancy. I didn't eat a specific way, but I ate what I wanted. I was very bold with my insulin. Kept my A1Cs in the low fives and the high fours for the whole pregnancy with no low patterns. Oh, see this? She didn't name the kid after me. You notice that? So let's just say, is this little Scott or do we have beef? Is that how you think she expected me to respond when she tagged me in the excitement of her child's birth? I bet you not. We'll find out. All right, guys. Adios. 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 See ya.